Today's sketchbook tour will be on my last trip that I did on the ship, and we went mainly to the Scottish Islands, and it was absolutely gorgeous, all those bird cliffs, and so I tried to put some of that in my sketchbooks. I've got two here that I'm going to show you, and so a bit of a cover of just all the different places that we visited along the way, so just for the beginning of the book. And this was quite close to the beginning of the trip. We went to the Isles of Scilly, which is, I mean, the water there is so clear, you might as well be in the Caribbean. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we were lucky with stunning weather. And they've got these awesome gardens there. And of course, you can see that I picked out the two South African flowers and the aloe, Protea, pincushion, aloe, and then whatever else was there. I was still meant to put the names down, but anyway, that will happen at some stage. Also, St. Agnes and Gough, also Isles of Scilly. It is a really nice tombola here, and in high tide it almost covers completely. And I had time just to sit here and sketch, so you can see by the color of the water how beautiful it is. All just watercolor with my little plein air box that I take with me. St. Martin, also the Isles of Scilly, and when everyone was walking around, I decided to sit on the rocks here. Beautiful transparent islands here, water here with all these little islands dotted in the background. And then this was a awesome place, Lundy, which is off the Welsh coast, and apparently it means puffin in French. You can see all the puffins over here. You do have puffins on the one side of the island, and we didn't actually get that far. So we saw some in the water, but we couldn't hike up there. Beautiful abbey over here, and the old castle, the lighthouse, and this is the little complex where the people stay. And then these stamps I just bought in the little shop at the top and decided to put them in there. But many guillemots and razorbills on the cliffs here, and it was great. In fact, I drew this as we came in with the ship and had this sort of early morning light on it. St. Agnes again, the lighthouse. So you must remember these trips that I do, we sometimes go back to the same place 2 or 3 times, and that's why they might be a little bit mixed up here in the book. Grosholm, a gannet colony, also off the Isle of Man, and thousands and thousands of gannets flying around here. Quite rough, very windy, but the gannets absolutely loved it. They thought it was just awesome. And then South Stack in Wales. Also, you can see the cliffs here were just thousands and thousands of guillemots and razorbills, and then the lighthouse was here on that side. Great view down onto the lighthouse with 400 steps. I actually only got halfway, I must admit. Also South Stack, I walked to the other side and had a great view down there. I added the color later because I didn't have enough time to add the color while I was there. And then Clanish Standing Stones, it's on the Isle of Lewis, Stornoway. So really very, very interesting talk here by the local tour guide that took us through the area here. Quite a cold, sort of rainy day. And here, one of my favorite spots, Lunga. The puffins here, they sit here right in front of you on the cliff. And yeah, I could have sat there for hours and hours and hours. And here's like looking beyond. So really, really gorgeous. A lot of this pink thrift, which is often what you see photographs of puffins with those pink little flowers, those pink thrift. And then if you walk towards the other side, there was also thousands of guillemots and razorbills, but beautiful fulmars, bluebells flying everywhere. It was stunning. This is the Black House Village on the Isle of Lewis. Very interesting. Don't think the sketch was very successful, but anyway, it was good to try a very sort of difficult angle from the top down. And this was also in Lunga, but while tried to get the puffins just with a brush and a pencil, but they move so quickly and move around and turn their heads and whatever. It's like almost impossible. Colonsay, a great Scottish islands, a lovely island with fantastic gardens that we visited. Also a little bit of time to sketch there. And St Kilda, wow, what a place. The first time we went, we had spectacular weather and managed to hike right up to the viewpoint there. It was just awesome. Up here they have a lot of like a military base now, big satellites and that sort of thing. And the second time we visited, it was dead calm, and we managed to go. There's quite a lot of arches and caves on the other side, and we managed to do like a boat trip in through the arches. It was just a bit scary with the driving, because I'm one of the drivers as well. First time for me to do those caves and arches, but spectacular. Then it turned like really grey and miserable, but quite a strong wind, and a lot of these places we couldn't actually land. This is in the Shetland Islands, Nos Head, and just thousands of birds flying. So all of this I did from the ship. You can see they were very quick type of sketches that I just had to get the colour and the lines down quickly because the ship was moving, so it didn't leave me much time. And Fair Isle, also too windy to land, but here we did a zodiac cruise through this particular arch here and around, and so that was awesome, and also thousands and thousands of birds. So really, really spectacular. This is between the Orkneys and the Shetlands. Staffa, another favourite place. So this is where you have Fingal's Cave, and you've got these huge columnar basalt columns over here and over here, and we had to land on the other side. Then you walk up, or you walk along this cliff here, and then you go into the cave there. And we would take the boats into the cave just a little while, just a little bit, not too much, because you can see it's only 75 meters in and 20 meters high. So, but spectacular. On a very calm day, we could do that. And this particular day, it was pretty rough. So I did the sketch from the ship, but then we did manage to go out and do a bit of a landing. So it was great. And you can see here, visited by so many famous people, Keats and Wordsworth, Livingston, Turner. I mean, fascinating place. Iona, also a little favorite, and again, beautiful Caribbean type of weather. The island of Mull is on the other side. The Abbey is very definitely worth visiting. Really lovely time there. Okay, that's another trip, another book, but in this little one I also did. In fact, I got this book from a friend of mine, and he said, before I left, he said, make sure it's full when you get back. So I didn't quite fill it, but this is when I didn't have that much time. So this is, again, from the beginning, the Isles of Scilly, Briar Island, beautiful little island with great little church with stained glass windows, very modern stained glass windows, so spectacular. And this was near Penzaz, one of the gardens that we visited. And this was before we went to the garden. We could see St. Michael's Mount in the distance, and then we drove past it on the other day. But when we arrived, it was quite foggy, so hence this type of quick sketch. Dartmouth, the River Dart. Here we visited Agatha Christie's garden and house, and this is the view from the garden down the River Dart, and that's the entrance over there. So it was also a gorgeous day. So we came up with the little boats, they're called zodiacs, and we came up the river here to the mooring point, and then up to the gardens, and then I walked back and then did the sketch looking down. Lovely place. Again, Isles of Scilly, Briar Island from the other side, and all these really jagged rocks here, very dangerous for ships. In fact, many shipwrecks in the olden days along this coastline over here. Isles of Scilly again, St. Mary's. This is basically the biggest town in the Isles of Scilly, with a lovely fort and great views all around. St. Martin, similar to the one I did in the bigger book. St. Agnes, that's the tombola. So this was on another day, very, very little time, so just put in a bit of colour. And Staffa. So here was one of the days we went to Staffa, and I was at the lookout point at the top and looked out the other side, and then I had this great view of the cliff and did some sketching there. And this was in Colonsay. I also climbed up to like a memorial, and the first thistles were coming out. And Iona, but looking back the other side. Lunga, yes, this is the place where all the puffins and that were, but if you remember, I said there was a lot of razorbills and guillemots on the cliff further up, and this is a quick sketch I did of that, but there were thousands and thousands of birds. St. Kilda again. This is I've forgotten what they're called now, but anyway, this is where they would store the birds and that sort of thing that they catch in the summer months or in the breeding season. They store them in there, and they had food in that for the winter. This is as we came with the ship around the other side of St. Kilda. Gorgeous views. Shetland Islands, Jarlshof, great medieval village basically that they discovered here, so really, really nice. Statleigh, St. Kilda again. Some views. We took the ship through this gap over here and went around here a couple of times, so this was pretty spectacular with thousands of gannets again. And Canna, this is I actually contracted COVID while I was on board, and I was quarantined in my cabin, but I had great views. So this is some of the views that I saw of Canna. Canna, also a beautiful island, but this particular time I couldn't go ashore, so I did this sketch from the cabin. And this is all I managed to do on my 7-week trip. I was working as well, so as artist in residence on the ship, as you guys may all know, and but always have a little bit of time for some sketches. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and my next one that I'll do will be of our South African trip, and I've still got all the Antarctica ones to show you as well, so I'll see what time I have and put something together. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.